the spirit of reconciliation, we honor and acknowledge Mohkinstsis and the traditional Treaty 7 territory and oral practices of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, as well as the Yithka, Stoney Nakoda, and Tsuut'ina nations. We also acknowledge that this territory is home to the Otipemisiwak government of the Métis Nation within Alberta District 6. We recognize the artists and craftspeople who have shared stories through their creations here for thousands of years and who continue to do so to this day. I've been keeping an eye on the activity here at KOAC for several years. KDOE is just a sculptural legend in the community, and so someone that I've watched closely. So I was aware of the residencies here, and really it was just something that was on a wish list for me for a long time. So I finally got things organized this year to apply, and was so thrilled to be selected. First and foremost, the residency provides a space. So the space itself is situated on this beautiful land just west of Calgary. You literally have a mountain view from the windows of the studio. So at any point you need a moment to just go and think and connect with nature, you're right there in it. You're surrounded by wildlife and just the sounds and sights and smells of nature. So that was really the starting point, was being in such a beautiful space. You're also surrounded by artwork from all over the world. So the sculpture garden there, for someone like myself that just loves sculpture, at any point you could just observe the work of these other artists and be informed by that and influenced by that, and have these exceptional pieces to look up to, right? And including those, of course, of Katie, one of the founders. I knew from having walked the sculpture gardens that there were lots of wild grasses and things right on the land here. But more recently, I've been interested in cattails. I think partly because I grew up around them, and there was a wetland area close to where I wandered as a child, and there's a wetlands here, and so I've been researching that plant, and I still aim to do some studies of the grasses as well. One thing I found really interesting is that there's just so much biodiversity everywhere. I'm trying to make new work, and that's the goal, but maybe a more important goal is to be actually learning from the space and learning from the other artists and the work that's on the grounds here, and in particular learning from nature. You start with an idea, and then you work through the material and all of the problems that come along with it that you need to solve, and eventually you reach a point where hopefully it's successful enough to put it down and move on to the next thing. The art problems never end, but they're the best problems to have at the same time. I tend to work in a lot of different media, in a lot of different forms and processes simultaneously. I don't know why that is, but it's always been the way that I work in sculpture. I'm constantly making mistakes. I'm not an expert at any of the things I'm doing. I have some skills, but I'm also trying things for the first time often, and consequently running into a lot of problems. And it's important to not get stuck when you make a mistake, and in fact you might find you learn something new, and the work improves because of those mistakes. I think this might be true about all work, is there's a phase that's just not pleasant. There's a phase, or could be multiple phases, that are just literally hard work. When you get to the other side of that hard work, there's often these moments that are just sheer joy. It's sort of like in baking, like putting the cherry on top of the cake or something like that. There's these moments where it's just like an aha. And you don't get to those moments if you don't put in the hard work and go through those phases that feel a little bit more like suffering. So for instance, sanding the bronze is very labor intensive, and you have to just go through layer after layer of sandpaper. You're wearing a lot of protective gear, so it's unpleasant in those ways as well. But then of course, when I apply the patina and I'm able to kind of give it that last finish, suddenly the work ought to come to life in a beautiful way, where it wouldn't be able to take on that final appearance if it weren't for all those layers of sanding. I find that work often has that quality, and it's worth it. It's worth it to push through and get to the other side and do your best. Oftentimes my strategy is to try to make work that's serving two purposes, that make work that's engaging and visual and hopefully beautiful, or has some kind of an aesthetic that draws the viewer in, and then simultaneously including some sort of a subject matter, a reference to a concern that I might be having that would also cause a little bit of a repulsion effect. So there's a little bit of like, you know, drawing the viewer in and then pushing them back. And I don't know if that's, if it's always there, but I would say it tends to be a through line in the way that I operate. The work behind me here challenged me in bronze. You know, I have some experience with bronze casting, but this piece really pushed me to learn a lot more and go further into that process. It was very difficult, but also very enjoyable, and I'm itching to do it again. I think that this, you know, I feel very excited about how this piece came out, and I'm wanting to do more like it. My tendency is to want to be really fussy and polish everything and make it really smooth and pristine. And there was something about the plants themselves, you know, that I was looking at were dried up and dormant, and you know, they're in their winter kind of sleep cycle. Everything is very beige, and a lot of the leaves are broken. And you know, nature isn't always so polished and perfect. And so there was something about knowing how to let the materials be a little bit. That was a great learning for me. I found that like allowing the sort of roughness of certain things to show actually was much more beautiful than had I, you know, continued to overwork the pieces. Sometimes the next right thing involved backing up a step and restarting because the process wasn't working correctly or something. But it was really exciting to just sort of go in with this blind faith that if I keep kind of working at it and doing the next right thing, that I will in fact get there. And I would say the results they're more exciting to me than I could have conceived when I was originally designing the work. I couldn't be happier with those. Looking back on my time at KOAC, it was such a wonderful creative experience for me. I was taking on a lot of new material processes, doing things that I'd never really done before, experimenting a lot, which I think is a wonderful thing about a residency, is that you can do that. You sort of have permission to play and sort of get out of your comfort zone. You know, I was trying to go very big while I was there and trying to make large scale work, but at the same time I was also trying to do things that I hadn't done before. So it definitely pushed my understanding of materials. I got to try a lot of new things and really just learn by doing, learn by trying and experimenting. These Bow River sculptures, which were hand poured using plant-based resin material. And the interesting thing there was originally I wasn't thinking about hand pouring them, but as I got more into the process, it seemed like that was going to work really well and sort of be free and open as opposed to making a really tight mold or something. And what ended up happening is through the process of pouring, they really behaved a lot more like a body of water. You know, there was just a lot of flow and gravity kind of assisting in the direction of this, the shaping of each sculpture. Showing those in the studio of Harry Kiuka, we were able to access these beautiful skylights and draw light down into the room and into the sculptures. We were able to discover that hanging these sculptures vertically really brought them to life and created new forms that simply the map, the topography of the river in its true shape, it really changed when we oriented it vertically. It became something new, which I was quite excited about. Being able to do your creative work is such a wonderful privilege and honor, and I feel like, you know, it's hard. It's hard to do it. It's hard to make the commitment or to have the time and the resources. And I think that being supported through the community at KOAC was just such a wonderful blessing for me. The fact that I was able to produce, you know, all of this new work and leave there feeling like I accomplished what I want to do and even more, I just feel so thankful and just filled with happiness at this point. So much of sculpture seems to be about figuring out how to get one thing to stick to another thing.